Well, good evening, everyone. This is Timothy Chemo Bryan, your head instigator for Create Art Podcast. And I'm here to help you tame your inner critic and, go ahead and do the whole thing there. Yeah. So let me do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm going to go ahead and show that. Very good. So anyhow, Timothy Chemo Bryan, head instigator. Oh. What do we got? David's Nelevo has joined. Hey, David's. So anyhow, head instigator, Create Art Podcast, helping you tame your inner critic and, create more than you consume. So what we're doing tonight is we're going to be talking about what's happening for us in good old April. So I'm sorry, I was interrupted by Facebook going on there. Apologize, guys. Oh my God. So April is National Poetry Writing Month, NaPoWriMo. And you can follow more on that at NaPoWriMo.net. Now, what is NaPoWriMo? Well, it's where you can go to the website and get prompts every day, 30 days, with a new poem or a new style of poetry. You'll get a prompt every day, and it'll be fantastic, folks. This is my fifth time. Fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 times doing it. And it is quite the feat. Think about it. You're going to write a poem every day for 30 days. Every day, 30 days. It's amazing, folks. Not only that, if you already are a writer, if you already write poetry, you're going to get introduced to a lot of different styles, a lot of different formats of writing poetry. So it's not only a way to express yourselves, it's a way to get some education going on for yourself to write better poetry. So I like I said, I've done this now for 5 years in a row, and I've actually picked up 2 books of poetry from this. Wisdom from the Sack. This is from a time when I was living in Chicago. I was living on somebody's sack, somebody's beanbag sack. Hence the name Wisdom from the Sack. And so I did it, and I was like, oh, I can do this, in my sleep. So I did 2 poems a day, and I wrote 60 poems, published the book. You can go and get a copy of the book at my website, createartpodcast.com. Okay, yes, shameless self-promotion there, createartpodcast.com. And if you go into the merch section, merch, I love merch. You love merch. Instagram loves merch. And Facebook loves merch. If you go there, you can pick up all the books of poetry that I have there for you. And my artwork and a bunch of other cool little swag, shall we say. And that's spelled with SCHWAG, swag. Anyhow, you can go there and pick up that book of poetry, Wisdom from the Sack. And the images there were done by my good friend Heather Moon. She is a fantastic artist. She's a friend of mine on Instagram, Facebook, real life friend. She's been on my old podcast, KDOI Podcasting. But this whole process helped me write 2 books of poetry. I'm saying 2 books of poetry. That's pretty significant for me, anyways. It really motivated me every day to go in there and give it a shot. So like I said, this is my 5th time doing it. So I thought this year we're gonna kick it up a notch. We're gonna go ahead and do a little something different. So what you're gonna get this month from me for NaPoWriMo is, yes, I'm gonna write a poem a day, every day throughout April. And, I'm going to follow the prompts as best I can. They're suggested prompts. You don't have to necessarily follow them, but it helps if you do. Pardon me for that. So I'm going to go ahead and write the poetry, and then I'm going to. Hey, Alicia is on Instagram. Hey, Alicia, what's up, my Alicia people? Yes. So I'm going to write poetry every day. I'm going to post it on createartpodcast.com. And I'm also going to put it on, Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of good stuff. But I'm also going to go to the NaPoWriMo.net site. And I'm going to have that scrolling. There we go. It's if you're watching Facebook live, you'll see stuff scrolling down the screen there. Wrong hand. There we go. I still can't get the hands right, the hand thing right. But if you go to NaPoWriMo.net, you can get those prompts. And every day you can put your poetry in the comment section and people will read it. Other poets will read it. This is a great thing because, sometimes we write poetry alone. We're very isolated. As a matter of fact, I don't know about you, but when I was going through school, it was called the Poetry Corner, and I always hated it. I always hated calling it the Poetry Corner. Poetry should not be in a corner. No. You can't keep baby in a corner, okay? Just like the Dirty Dancing thing. Poetry should be read aloud. I think most poetry should be read aloud. Oh yeah, Alicia, I can't wait for it either. I have no idea what I'm going to be writing about, but I think poetry should be read aloud. Or most poetry should be read aloud. All of my poetry should definitely be read aloud because I wrote it to be read aloud, to be performed, mainly because, well, that's my theater background. So what can I say? But I'm going to be, reading those poems right here. You're seeing this microphone right here. Instagram, this is a RE320. Work needs to get me one of these. So that way I don't have to pay $300 for it. But I'm going to be doing this every day. I'm going to be posting it in various sites every day. Now, why am I posting it to NaPoWriMo.net? NaPoWriMo. Gosh, I get these all confused. NaPoWriMo. NaPoWriMo.net. Why am I posting it there? So that way I can have other people take a look at it, other poets, other people that are interested in poetry. And, hey, maybe they give me some critiques or something like that. Don't know. Be interested in finding out what other people think. I love what my friends think about my poetry. I really do. I want to know what you think about it. But sometimes, you just want to get somebody else's opinion from it too. You don't want to hear, oh, that was really cool. And then crickets. Sometimes you just need to, get out there and rock it out and make it happen for yourselves and get other people taking a look at it. Oh, we got Stacy, married to Mr. Wonderful, right there on good old Facebook. Hi, Stacy. Keeping Texas warm for me, I hope. Yes, indeed. Again, with the coughing. Tim, what's up with the coughing? I don't know. But anyways, so I'm going to be going ahead and doing that every day. And then I'm going to go ahead and be talking talking metaphorically to other poets. And hopefully we can bring some of them on the show on Create Art Podcast, where we help you tame your inner critic and create more than you consume. Come on. Isn't that a great idea? So I'm going to challenge you all. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you. Find a challenge for yourself. Now, maybe you're not a poet. Okay, understood. There's National Novel Writing Month. There's Inktober. National Novel Writing Month is in November. Inktober is in October, where you do, drawings every day. There's different things out there to challenge yourself. I do this to challenge myself, and I'm really, really pushing the challenge this time. I really am, to not only write it, to post it, to perform it, and to talk to other people's, read other people's stuff and see what they're doing with their poetry. And, like I said, bring a few of them on the show here. Now, you're going to say, Tim, poetry, come on, poetry. What's up with what's the deal with the poetry? Well, on top of work a 40-hour work week, Luckily I get to, me and Alicia are cool like that. She'll make sure that I'm awake for work and drinking a lot of coffee. But and my twins, got to take care of the twins, got to take care of the wife, all that good stuff. I've already requisitioned 30 hours a day every day for April. I got that from my boss, so thank you, boss. But we're going to go ahead and do 30 hours a day, so that way I can get all this kind of stuff in. But why am I doing this? I want to challenge myself. I want to stretch what I normally can do. I know I can write 30 poems in a day. It's not tough for me to do. I can find prompts. I can find inspiration just about anywhere. Anywhere I go, I can find inspiration. I really can. So being inspired is not that difficult. What's difficult is kicking it up a couple of notches and then taking those poems and turning them into a book that maybe you guys want to read. Maybe you guys want to buy. Maybe you want to give to a friend that likes art, that likes poetry. I don't know. I just feel that, hey, I need to challenge myself. And, we all need to challenge ourselves. We all need to stretch ourselves just a little bit. So why poetry? All right. Well, 2 months ago, I did another one of these live streams, and these we were talking about poetry readings. Obviously, poetry is very special to me. I started writing in 1988, longer than some people have been alive. Maybe longer than most people have been. Oh, nah, not most. I'm not that old, but I started writing in '88, and I wrote because it was a reaction to what I was being taught in school. In order to take orchestra, I had to take honors English. I'm not an English major. You've probably had 20 different grammatical errors from me since I started talking. But it was honors English class that got me hooked into poetry, read some T.S. Eliot, and from there on out, I was like, this is my thing. This is my daily whopper. Of course, I was a high school student. Most people start writing poetry in high school. Most people start writing bad poetry in high school. This guy right here wrote a lot of bad poetry in high school and in the Air Force and in college. And up until last week, I wrote really bad poetry. But I'm hoping next week I start writing. Tomorrow I start writing really good poetry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And if you want to read really bad poetry, go to createartpodcast.com, go over to the merch section, pick up a couple of books, and have fun with that. But no, really, poetry really hit me in a time that I was very lonely. Most high school kids are. I was in theater and I was in orchestra, so I was used to wearing black. I had a spiked hair and a mullet and a dangly earring that had crosses on it and chains that I flipped crosses upside down because I was like that. I wore eyeliner, and black fingernail polish because that's what you did in high school, in theater department, and in orchestra. That's just what you did. But yeah, I started writing poetry back then, and it really helped me explain a lot of the dark holes that were in my life, shall we say. And it pulled me through a lot of really dark times. And there was a long stretch of time that I thought I could only write poetry if I was suffering. So I would, if I was having a good time with a girlfriend, I would break up with them just so that I could write good poetry because I thought, I can't write good poetry unless I'm suffering. Well, that's not the case. You can write good poetry if you're happy. You can write good poetry if you're sad. You can write good poetry, but it's like a muscle. You have to exercise it. And that's what I'm doing in April. I'm exercising that muscle. And, feel free, come along that journey with me. I'd be happy to have you along. There's going to be, like I said, at least 30 poems out there. You'll be able to read them, and then you'll be able to hear my old pipes on this wonderful microphone, this wonderful RE320 microphone. Pop them out to you, and think about it. Let's just think for a moment. Some of the greatest poets that we have in our time. A lot of the old guys and gals, Emily Dickinson, Okay. I didn't really record their poetry, so you don't really hear her voice. You can read it, you can guess, you can, think about, well, the pacing of it and where she paused and all that kind of stuff. You can think about that kind of stuff, but you don't have the voice. Um, I remember when I first heard T.S. Eliot read The Hollow Men, I was like, dude, you're reading it too fast. But that's the way he wrote it. And that's the way he performed it, let's say. So for me, I read it one way. He's the poet. He wrote it. He reads it one way. And it's just great to, kind of see, how people, interpret their own works. And then you go, oh, I didn't see that at all. I didn't read it that way at all. And so, if you run into one of those where you're like, well, Tim, I read it and then I heard you read it. And I think it needs to be read this way or that way or the other way. By all means, shoot me an email, Timothy@createartpodcast.com. Oh my God, there he goes with the shameless self-promotion. I tell you, he's a horrible guy. Horrible. But that's what's going to be. That's the way I'm going to approach it, and I really would like everyone's input on it. Like I said, I'm going to try to get some input from other folks at NaPoWriMo.net, and we got that banner. Ooh, there it is. My fingers are following it. Folks on Instagram, I'm so sorry. I got to figure out how to do these banners for you guys because you guys are missing out on the Facebook end of it. Really, you guys are. But I like Instagram because, boom, you guys are all right there. And you guys are ready to go. Sometimes you guys are ahead of me and, going, hey, Tim, when's this stupid thing going on? But yeah, that's what's happening for the month of April. NaPoWriMo, National Poetry Writing Month. I just discussed with you, the importance to poetry for me. It helps me get out of bad times. It helps me with good times. So, yes, I know we got a pandemic, and Tim is happy about that. I'm not happy that we have a pandemic, but I'm writing more positive poetry, and that's how I'm coping with everything that's going on here, with that power of positivity. The power of positive thinking. Maybe I should write a book on that. Or maybe somebody already wrote a book on that. Don't know. But that's what's going on for the month of April. So it's going to be a busy month. And again, I hope you all join in with me on that. So that is all I have for you tonight. So if you have a podcast app of choice that you'd like to use, feel free to subscribe. Create Art Podcast. You'll hear 30 wonderful poems. And let's say you're like, hey, Tim, I just kind of want to read, what you did last year, because some of that stuff last year is pretty good. May make it into a book. Don't know. Some of it's got to be edited. But you can go to createartpodcast.com and then you go ahead and into the projects. You can do NaPoWriMo 2020. See, I did it last year. I did it the year before. Like I said, I've done it for 5 years. It's a fun project for you to do. And I'm all about inspiring people to go and do creative stuff. It helps us get through this crazy stuff that we got going on right now. It really does. It keeps me going. It keeps me motivated. And also, you'll be seeing me help my nephew host the poetry readings every Friday night at Katora. So Fridays are going to be a little bit on the scary side. Ramon, my brother from another mother. All right. So, folks, I got to take a little bit of a timeout here. I got to take a little bit of a timeout from NaPoWriMo. So Ramon from Chicago, who is part of the Sensation Theater Company, comedy with a Latin flavor. He and I used to run the Word Up Poetry Slam in Chicago. Now you guys are going to be like, oh, Poetry Slam. Well, here's what we did. We did, the first round was you bring your poetry. You got 3 minutes, bring it. And then the audience, we'd have like 5 judges or 3 judges in the audience, and a couple of the highest scores, like 3 or 4 of the highest scores went on to the second round. Second round was improv. So we would get an idea from the audience, and you had to come up with a poem right then and there. So my improv people were like, writing poetry, but they killed it at improv. If they could get to that second round, they killed it. My poetry people, oh yeah, in the first round they were killing it, but in the second round with the improv stuff, it was tough. It is tough to think of poetry like that, just off the top of your head. That's a tough thing to do. Don't ever ask a musician or a poet, hey, write me a poem right now, or sing me a song right now, and just make something up right now. Or don't do that to a painter either. They don't really like that. Painters like to take their time. But Ramon and I did, and we had a great time doing this. Had a great time doing it. So maybe Ramon and I can get back together again at some point. I'm hoping. And maybe Ramon, I know you're listening. Maybe we could do Word Up, where he hosts from Chicago and I host from Fredericksburg, Virginia. And we could do a little something. I don't know. Get a hold of Ramon over at Salsation. Get a hold of me, and we'll see if we can do that. I got a hell yeah from Ramon. So watch out, folks. In 2021, I'm telling you this right now. If you're a poet or if you're an improv person, we're going to run you through the ringer and see how good you really are. How good are you really? Okay. I have to confess, I participated. I did not win, but that was because I made sure I wasn't going to win, because as a co-host for it, I can't win. That'd be conflict of interest. That's never stopped me in the past, but conflict of interest there, folks. All right. So I'm going to wind this bad boy down. First and foremost, National Poetry Writing Month, NaPoWriMo.net. That's where you go get the prompts. Okay. I'm going to throw it out there to you, folks. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you over on Instagram, over on Facebook. Go there. Try it for 5 days. Try 5 prompts. Write the poetry. If you want to send it to me, by all means, go ahead and send it to me. Timothy@createartpodcast.com. Be happy to take a look at it for you. See if you can, knock it out for 5 days in a row. It's tough. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. Once you get to 5 days, you're like, well, I made it 5. Why not 10? I'm at 10. I'm a third of the way through. Why not 20? Okay, I'm 2/3 of the way through. Oh my God. Boom. And then you hit 30, and then you're just like, in May 1st, you're like, oh my God, what did I just do? I just wrote 30 poems. And you're a poet, and you know it, and your feet show it. They're Longfellows. That is a horrible dad joke. And if you guys, are going to slap me around for it, please feel free to do that. But Ramon can slap me around for that. Nobody else can. Well, maybe Alicia can slap me around for that. But go ahead and try that out for yourself. No one has to see it. No one has to see it. But if you want somebody to see it, somebody that's been writing poetry since 1988, 88 kids, then go ahead and shoot it my way, and then tell me the level of critique you want. I can do it to make a Marine cry, or I can do it to all fluffy duffy and make you feel good about yourself. You tell me the level that you want it critique at, and I'll be happy to do that for you in May, not in April, because I'm going to be a little bit too busy, folks, just a touch. But I'm excited to bring this to you. It actually starts at midnight tonight. They did a early bird one because it's a global thing now. And I just found out it's been going on for 25 years. So this is the 25th anniversary of NaPoWriMo for National Poetry Writing Month. So that's pretty good. It's one of the largest literary events of the year. So give it a shot. Check it out for yourself. If not, sit back, enjoy the crazy poetry that I'm going to throw down at you. And we will see you, in a couple hours. I've got to go get a prompt and get inspired to write some poetry. But thank you for inspiring me to make these web streams happen. And always remember, Create Art Podcast. We're here to tame your inner critic and help you create more than you consume. Now go out there and make some art for somebody that you love, yourself.